And so we're back with another week of Katekyo Hitman REBORN, guys. And guess what? We are at chapter 108. We're at chapter 108, and that's how it opens up, showing us Yamamoto like that. And I can illustrate what this chapter is for you, okay? Like, you know, the picture books that we did when we were younger and all that stuff. Not to say I'm saying you guys are kids or anything, but look how crisp that looks. Look how crisp that looks. So, as we started from the ending of chapter 107 before we got to 108, obviously the fight between Squalo and Yamamoto has commenced, and Squalo went on the offensive. And for the whole duration so far since the fight has started, Yamamoto has demonstrated at least one defensive form of the Shigure Soin style. Now, as you clearly can tell in the chapter, they explain that the Shigure Soin style has 8 styles, 4 offensive and 4 defensive, hence 8, right? So from last chapter, Yamamoto showed the defensive form, raining surge or raining style, something like that. And then it showed clearly how chapter 108 has opened up. And so with that happening, let me put this back. This goes up to 125, so it's going to be here till chapter 125. So he shows his defensive style towards Squalo. Okay, and of course everybody's, you know, cheering Yamamoto on because they're saying, like, look how fast Yamamoto has acquired the Shigure Soin style within a week. Okay, and even Reborn is saying that the whole time since the warrior came to Japan and everything has been going down with the scramble battles and everything, and everybody has to train, Yamamoto has been training non-stop. Okay, he's still new to the whole thing. He's not a master, say, like, compared to Squalo, but to see how far he has come in his skills in a week, in under a week or a week, is phenomenal. So even though, you know, everybody's impressed, those who are not skilled, like Suna and Basil and the others, Dino still has his reservations, because obviously, remember, he told in the last chapter that Squalo was originally meant to be the leader of the Varya before Xanthus came in. Okay, Squalo defeated a bunch of different swords masters. Okay, even the previous Varya leader, who's also, no, he just defeated him to become the Varya head, but Xanthus came into the picture, which is still up in the air as a mystery because nobody really knows how that whole situation really went down. But to say Squalo is weak, you're just playing yourself. Okay, Squalo is nowhere near weak. He's the right-hand man of Xanthus. He was originally meant to be the boss, and he has defeated a good number of swordsmen. Okay, and Yamamoto looks to be on his list. So the fight keeps going on, and as they're fighting again, Squalo is still going on the offensive, and then we see the second, which is actually literally the second defensive form that Yamamoto uses, where he uses the sword to bring up the water, to hide himself, to camouflage himself, and then he goes on the attack, and it's called Surging Rain. So that's the first defensive move he used was the 7th form. Now he's using the 2nd form. So this time around, we see where, despite Yamamoto showing the skills of the Shigure Soin style, we see where Squalo looks kind of happy. And usually when you see your opponent looking kind of happy or pleased about something, you should be kind of worried, right? Because that usually spells for trouble, no good. So again, he's telling Yamamoto, why are you defending instead of attacking? And Yamamoto, being the ever most optimistic but sometimes not the brightest person in the room, he's like, I just want to fight you. I don't want to kill you. Everybody's just like, from the Varya, even on Suna's side, it's just like, is he taking this as a joke? Okay, this is literally a life and death battle. Mind you, they're in a room that has a bunch of water, from water coming from up top to water coming down the bottom. And if they keep going and the water pressure keeps rising, eventually a sea beast will come out and try to kill them if they don't try to finish this fight. It's not a time fight like the previous fight with Gokudera versus Bell, but this one is like a continuous fight until they either run out of space to stand on due to water, or whatever creature is in the water waiting for its next dinner. Okay, so instead we have, again, once he's saying all of that, Yamamoto, you would have thought it felt like a very, it felt like that moment when I saw with Gohan versus Cell. Or was it Cell? No, not Cell. Boo. And he was just, it felt cocky. He was very sure of himself. Okay? But the biggest difference here is, unlike Gohan, who has battle experience, Yamamoto doesn't have battle experience. So he's going into this fight thinking he's not going to get hurt or no one is going to die. He just wants to fight Squalo and just beat him. He doesn't want to kill him, even though clearly his opponent is thinking otherwise. So he's like, you know, when you say, because Squalo was like, you had your last chance to attack me, to physically attack and hurt me. And so Yamamoto comes in and saying that, like, when you say your last, you really do like to talk big. He's literally openly mocking Squalo. Like I said, Yamamoto, I don't know if it's like he's so sure of himself. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having confidence, but you're facing against the guy who beat plenty of swords masters, on top of he should have been the leader of one of the most dangerous assassin groups in the world. And you're openly telling him in his face, in a death match, you sure talk big. I would just have to go charging at him after that. Like, I'm not going to keep my cool. I'm not going to let some little kid tell me, mock me, make me look foolish enough. And knowing Squalo and his hot-headedness, that's exactly what he tried to do. But this time around, it's instead of Squalo going back on the offense, going on the attack, it's actually Yamamoto. So again, this whole fight since it started, Yamamoto has demonstrated his defensive skills using the Shikure Soin style. Now he's showing one of the offensive forms of this style. So he starts charging forward. Okay, he gets serious, then he starts charging forward. Might I add, I didn't add, but Reborn even mentioned that with Yamamoto, despite him being a baseball player, but because of how he managed to learn so much of a particular sword style within a week, and basically his athleticism, Yamamoto has the qualities of being a natural born assassin. So if you guys thought Hibari was bad, thank God Yamamoto is the way he is. Thank God he's actually, more of the friendly type. Because it's no wonder that Reborn does say that, like, Yamamoto, with his skills and what he's capable of doing, how easy it is for him to catch on and demonstrate what was taught to him in less time than whatever was provided. is due to him being able to play baseball, but again, his body was just able to naturally do it. It's because he has the skills, what it takes to be an assassin, a natural born assassin. So it just makes you think anytime Yamamoto gets serious, you know, that's, I don't know if that's the assassin blood kicking in him or something of that sort. And obviously we've seen where his skills do prevail every time he does get into an altercation, how he can maneuver himself out faster than most people who do have, like, we can obviously say Gokudera probably has more experience in fights compared to Yamamoto, but you clearly see where the natural fight in Yamamoto, no, I would say the natural gift for it appears in Yamamoto versus Gokudera or even Suna, who have to train and all that to get to that level to be able to evade or even hit or something like that. And it just comes naturally to Yamamoto. Like, take all of his fights prior to now and see how he approaches these fights and how he moves about in these fights to this point. And obviously he still has a long way to go. So that was just a little something that happened in chapter that Reborn mentioned. Okay, so our natural born assassin, so he goes on the charge now, and he's going to go and hit Squalo. So when you're thinking he's going to hit him once with one arm, he actually drops the sword. He goes in so fast that his hand looks like a blur, and then he drops the sword into his other hand, and then that's when he swings, hits Squalo, and Squalo falls into the water. And that skill is called the 5th offensive form, Early Summer Rain. Okay, so obviously on Suna's side, Suna and Basil, even Gokudera, are praising Yamamoto. But then we have on the Varia side saying that how naive, they shouldn't be celebrating so soon. Come to find out, Squalo actually wasn't hit. Okay, it's like he was anticipating for that move to happen. Like, he read that move and knew exactly what Yamamoto was capable of, was about to do. And so he put enough space before Yamamoto was able to swing his blade and get out of the way of the attack. But also he mentioned that, why do you use the back of your sword? Hence why I said that, like, Yamamoto is going into this fight not to kill, but just to beat him. Okay, it's not a fight where he's thinking, okay, this is like literally life and that, even though we saw over the course of the previous 3 fights, whatever goes on in Yamamoto's head, I don't know. Okay, I don't know if it's low-key the pacifism in him, or he's just thinking this is a game, but he's going into this thinking, I'm so sure of myself that I don't have to kill you in order to win. Even though this is a life and death situation, even though there is literally some creatures in the water waiting for them or something, or the fact that they can die due to loss of oxygen because they can't breathe underwater for how long or something, but that's what it is. So Squalo invaded from that attack. Okay, and then he goes onto the charge again. Now he's back on the offensive, and Yamamoto's trying to block him. So again, he went back to use the 2nd form to, you know, to camouflage himself with the water. Squalo does the same thing, and basically right at that moment, it was a fight or a stance where whoever can find whoever in their camouflage of water first is the victor in that little moment. Squalo came up from behind Yamamoto, and now he slashed him, and Yamamoto ended up with an injury. Okay, he slashed from, like, depending on how the page is, from his left side up to his shoulder. Okay, and then the chapter ends with Squalo saying that, like, your Shigure Soin style is the same style that I've beaten before. This leads and it shows the panel of Yamamoto being shocked and both Suna being shocked, because remember, out of everybody else, Suna was so sure and actually was the most calm when it came to Yamamoto, and hence that fits into the quality of Rain Guardian, right? You know, tranquil, peace, serenity, that type of stuff. So the fact that now Yamamoto got hurt, despite the confidence and the assurity that he had going to this fight, may cause Suna to start worrying, okay? And of course, it makes any of us worry, especially if it's your first time reading, because again, Yamamoto just has that quality that like everything is going to be okay. Like, you know, take it calm, take it easy. It's serious, but not that serious. We're gonna make it out just okay. And then you see this happen, and it's to be expected, especially hearing from Dino and given the fact of who Yamamoto's opponent is. Again, Squallow who's beaten plenty of people, including someone who trained using the Shigure Soin saga. Remember, his dad did mention that it's a style that's passed down to many users. That means Yamamoto's dad is one of the many users of the same style, and now he passed it on to his son. It's not something you would say it runs in the family. It's more like whoever's wants to study it will study it and be able to use it, and whatever they learn, they pass it on to someone else. So to find out that Squallow beaten a previous Shigure Soin style user, it's kind of worrying, because Yamamoto and even his father are so assured that this particular style of swordsmanship is flawless, perfect, and the strongest, that nothing can touch it. And then you meet a guy who has several sword styles. It's either you have to be, again, like the most confident person in the world to think you can beat someone like this, or probably the dumbest, or be a Yamamoto. That's all I gotta say. But so far this is not looking good for Yamamoto, because obviously despite what he learned within a week, which is an accomplishment in itself, and again, him being a natural born assassin, having the skills of one at least, still isn't enough compared to someone who has a lot more experience and a lot more skills under his belt compared to Yamamoto. So for those who are new, how do you feel this fight is going to turn out? That even though Yamamoto did get injured in this chapter, do you think he's going to be able to turn around come next chapter? Or will this possibly lead to something worse? Could this possibly lead to something better, and this can lead to Suna's group finally getting that second ring that they so desperately need? If you have already read or watched this already, do tell me on how you felt about this. Especially even in the first time you saw it, were you rooting so hard for Yamamoto, and then when this moment happened, how do you feel about this particular moment when he first got injured? Please do tell me your comments down below. Also, guys, do hit the bell so you guys are notified for when new videos and new posts are being put up. I'm Kimi-chan of Anime Legends, and I will see you guys later. Bye!